The sound of sizzling steak filled the backyard, but what made Evelyn's stomach twist wasn't the food. It was her father's voice cutting through the chatter. "Hey, Evelyn," he called, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You're old enough to pay rent or get out. This isn't a charity." Laughter broke out around the picnic tables. Her stepmother, Denise, giggled sharply, her half-brother Mason clinked his beer bottle against another, and her father smirked as if he'd just told the funniest joke in town. The bowl of potato salad in Evelyn's hands suddenly felt like a weight she couldn't carry. Every face turned toward her, curious, entertained. She swallowed hard, heat rising to her cheeks. Her father loved scenes like this. Public control disguised as humor. "You've been taking half my paycheck for years, Dad," she said quietly, setting the bowl down. "I already pay the bills." He raised an eyebrow in mock surprise. "That's called life, sweetheart. You don't like it, find somewhere else to live." Mason laughed. "Good luck with that." The neighbors' whispers hummed around them, an audience hungry for spectacle. Evelyn's heart pounded, but something inside her shifted. She looked at the man who'd called himself her father, the man who'd drained her for years, and said softly, "Fine. You want me gone? You'll get your wish." He laughed, waving his spatula. "Yeah? Where are you going to go, genius?" "Back to that falling-apart apartment." His voice dripped with amusement, but she didn't answer. Because he didn't know. He didn't know she had been saving quietly for months. The keys to her new house pressed against her thigh in her pocket, a secret she'd guarded like a lifeline. While they laughed, she smiled faintly, already picturing herself somewhere far from this backyard prison. The rest of the barbecue passed in a blur of false laughter and whispered judgment. Evelyn moved like a ghost, stacking plates, nodding through conversations she couldn't hear. By the time the last guest left, the decision was made. She wasn't staying another night. No pleading, no explanations. Dawn hadn't yet broken when she loaded the final box into her car. Her hands trembled, but not from fear, from the thrill of escape. The house behind her was dark, unaware that its foundation was about to crumble without her paycheck holding it up. As she pulled away, she felt lighter than she had in years. The sky was a deep indigo, promising something new. "Goodbye," she whispered, though no one could hear. Her new home sat at the edge of a quiet street, a two-story house with white siding and a porch that wrapped around like an embrace. When she stepped inside, the air felt different. Clean. Untouched. She spread the deed across the kitchen counter, her name printed clearly at the bottom. It was hers. All hers. For years she had scraped, saved, and pretended she was broke while secretly building her escape. As she unpacked the essentials, her phone buzzed with notifications, her father, Denise, Mason, all calling one after another. She ignored every ring. Finally, she typed a short message. "I've moved out. The bills are yours now." She placed the phone face down and exhaled. Freedom had a sound. It was silence. That silence didn't last long. Tires crunched over gravel before sunset. Her father's truck, followed by Denise's sedan, rolled into her driveway like an invading force. Evelyn watched from the window as they climbed out. Her father's expression wasn't angry. It was afraid. "You're not serious," he said when she stepped onto the porch. She leaned against the railing. "I told you last night. You said pay rent or get out. I chose get out." His face reddened. "Stop being dramatic. Just turn the accounts back on for a week. We'll figure things out." Evelyn shook her head. "No, Dad. You'll figure it out. Like I did." Denise's voice cracked. "That's cold." Evelyn's tone was steady. "No, Cold was laughing at me in front of everyone. This is just fair." They left after that, but not quietly. Denise muttered curses, Mason slammed the truck door, and her father shouted something about ungrateful children. Evelyn stood on the porch until the sound of their engine faded. For the first time, she realized she didn't feel guilt. She felt calm. Inside, she opened her laptop and began cutting ties. Electric bill, gas, water, internet, insurance, all once in her name, now canceled or transferred. Each confirmation email felt like a slice of liberation. When her phone lit up with their names again, she smiled and let it ring. The messages poured in, each one more desperate than the last. "You can't just leave us like this. This isn't funny. We're family." She typed one response. "Family doesn't use you." By evening, the family group chat erupted. "Denise, the Wi-Fi's down." "Mason, Dad's furious." "You ruined dinner." Her father, "Turn everything back on." Evelyn replied, "I've moved out. The bills are your responsibility. Please don't show up uninvited." Minutes later, headlights swept across her window. She sighed. They were back. Her father didn't stop at the steps this time. "Enough," he barked as she opened the door. "You've made your point. Turn the accounts back on for a week." She met his gaze. "You've taken half my paycheck since I was 17. You made your point too. You wanted me gone. I'm gone." His mouth opened, but no words came. For once, silence favored her. Morning arrived with a peace she hadn't known in years. No shouting, no footsteps, no chaos. Just birds outside and the smell of coffee drifting through her kitchen. She let the quiet wrap around her. But peace doesn't last when people like them can't stand losing control. Her phone buzzed again, calls, texts, voicemails. "The electric's off. Food's spoiling. We need your help." She didn't reply. They were learning that bills don't pay themselves. At noon, knocking echoed through the house. 3 sharp knocks. Evelyn peered through her security camera. Denise stood there alone, oversized sunglasses hiding her eyes. Evelyn opened the door just enough. "What do you want?" she asked. Denise forced a smile. "We need the car insurance in your name for a few days. Mason's got an interview." Evelyn shook her head. "It's my policy. If Mason's driving, he needs his own." Denise's smile faltered. "You're punishing us." Evelyn leaned against the doorframe. "No. I'm refusing to be punished anymore." Denise blinked, thrown by her composure. "Your father's just stressed, you know that. The shop's been slow." Evelyn's lips curled. "That shop closed 3 years ago, Denise. He's had time to adjust." The mask slipped from her stepmother's face, bitterness flashing in her eyes. "You'll regret this." Evelyn smiled faintly. "Maybe, but not today." She shut the door. The quiet click echoed like victory. Inside, she felt something she hadn't felt since childhood: control. That night, as she unpacked her last box, an email notification popped up. "Suspicious login attempt detected." Her chest tightened. She logged into her bank account and found multiple failed password attempts, and a new department store credit card opened under her name with their address. Her pulse quickened, but not from fear. From certainty. They'd stolen her information. She printed everything, the emails, statements, timestamps, and slid them into a folder labeled Boundaries. "Not this time," she whispered. When Mason texted later that night, "Think you're better than us. Watch your mailbox," she didn't reply. She forwarded it straight to her lawyer. 2 days passed. The phone stayed silent except for Mason's petty texts. Evelyn kept every one. At the office, she met privately with an attorney she trusted. "You've got more than enough evidence," he said, flipping through her folder. "We'll handle this." She nodded, her heart steady. That evening, she scrolled through Facebook only to find Denise's post already making rounds. Some people forget who fed them when they had nothing. Dozens of sympathetic comments followed. Evelyn didn't reply. She didn't need to. Lies have short legs. Truth catches up eventually. Instead of fighting online, she focused on cleaning up the last of her finances. She called each utility company, confirming her name had been removed. No more leeches. The doorbell rang again at noon. Her camera showed her father this time, hands in pockets, jaw tight. She opened the door, but didn't step aside. "What is it now?" she asked. "The mortgage is due," he said, voice strained. "Without your transfer, we're short." Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "Not my problem." His eyes flashed. "You don't just walk away from responsibilities overnight." She laughed softly. "You mean the ones you dumped on me the second I started earning?" "Yeah, I do." His face hardened. "You think you're better than us?" "No," she said calmly. just freer. He stepped closer, his tone low and dangerous. If you walk away, you'll be nothing to us. Evelyn didn't flinch. Then I'll be nothing to you, and everything to myself. She turned and closed the door. No yelling, no tears, just finality. That night, her old neighbor called. They're out in the driveway arguing, she whispered. Denise is crying. Your dad's shouting about money. Evelyn thanked her and ended the call. For the first time, she didn't feel the urge to fix it. She just felt peace. The next morning, Evelyn visited the bank and closed the last joint account. The manager glanced at her paperwork and nodded. All set, he said. They'll no longer have access. She exhaled slowly. It was over. Her phone buzzed again hours later, another message from Denise. Please help us this month. We'll figure it out after. Evelyn stared at it for a moment, then deleted it. 2 hours later, another post appeared on Denise's page. Funny how people change when they think they don't need you anymore. Evelyn smiled at her screen. No, Denise, she murmured. I just learned who I am without you. Saturday morning brought one final test. An email from the mortgage company landed in her inbox. Notice of public auction, missed payments. Her heart skipped before logic caught up. She wasn't responsible anymore. She'd been listed years ago as an emergency contact. Her father must have never updated it. Still, she printed the letter and added it to her folder. It wasn't her burden, but it was proof of what she'd escaped. When the pounding started at noon, she already knew who it was. Her father stood on the porch, red-faced. Denise lingered behind him, and Mason leaned against the car, smirking. You saw the notice, her father said. We can't lose the house. You're going to help us fix this. Evelyn crossed her arms. No, I'm not. You're still family, he shouted, loud enough for the neighbors to peek through blinds. Family doesn't use you as a wallet, she shot back. Denise's voice shook. Do you have to make a scene? Evelyn smiled. I didn't start it, but I'll finish it. Mason muttered. Unbelievable. Evelyn turned to him. You're right. It is unbelievable that I let this go on for so long. Her father's tone dropped low again, the same voice that used to make her shrink. You'll regret this when you come crawling back. Evelyn tilted her head. That's the difference, Dad. I don't crawl anymore. She pulled the printed foreclosure notice from her folder and held it out. This is what happens when the person you drain finally stops bleeding for you. She dropped the paper at his feet and walked back inside. From behind the blinds, she watched them. Her father stared down at the paper, Denise looked around nervously, and Mason kicked at it like a child. Then they left, silent, defeated. The click of her door lock sounded like punctuation on years of abuse. She sat on the couch, staring at the walls of her new home, feeling the strangest mix of relief and sorrow. It wasn't joy that filled her chest, but peace earned through pain. That night, she posted a single sentence on her page. Sometimes the best gift you can give people is the chance to stand on their own 2 feet. Comments flooded in, supportive, proud, curious, but she didn't elaborate. She didn't need to. Her story wasn't for pity. It was for freedom. And as she closed her laptop, she whispered, finally. Months passed quietly. Evelyn flourished. Her credit restored. The fraud case settled in her favor. Her father and Denise ordered to pay restitution. The family never reached out again. Through mutual friends, she learned they'd sold nearly everything and moved to a small apartment. Mason eventually found work and his own place, stripped of arrogance. Evelyn never gloated. She didn't need revenge. She'd already won. Her house became her sanctuary, a place filled with laughter, books, and peace. The first day she received her law school acceptance letter, she sat on her porch, sipping coffee, the morning sun spilling across the pages. You did it, she whispered to herself. She didn't mean she'd escaped them. She meant she'd reclaimed herself, her worth, her power, her future. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's success. And as the breeze carried away the last echoes of her past, Evelyn smiled softly, knowing that freedom wasn't about running from something. It was about finally standing still, unafraid, in a life that was truly hers. If you value stories of respect, dignity, and justice, please subscribe. It means more than you know, and it lets me keep sharing the lessons life has carved into